What is your bud weight? It gets worse story. I can finally post this. OMG. Buckle your seatbelts. Grab a plate. I'm a hostess at a really fancy restaurant. There's this one old couple who are kind of regulars. Super stinking rich. We'll call them Mr. and Mrs. Green. Mrs. Green has, I assume, some kind of owls because her hand is all shriveled and she can't use it. Mr. Green is aware of his wife's situation and does absolutely nothing to assist her. Makes her open doors. Doesn't pull out her chair for her. Doesn't cut her food, etc. It's almost as if she's one-handed because tasks are difficult for her. One night they come in to eat. Usually Mr. Green is very rude and demands a table that's already been reserved and makes a huge hassle. But tonight, he was behaved. I seat them at their table, pull out the chair for Mrs. Green, and a huge smile appears on her face. She gives me the biggest thank you ever. It's as if that's the nicest thing that's ever been done for her. Her husband apparently doesn't do it. Work is busy as usual. There's me and another hostess. Let's call her Lucy. Lucy is seating a party and I'm up at the front answering phone calls. All of a sudden, Mrs. Green comes up waddling to me. She grabs my arm as if her life was in danger. She says to me, "Help me. Is everything alright, mom? I just pooped my pants." Lord, why me? I honestly didn't know what to do. What did she want from me? Okay, the restrooms are right over here. I need you to help me in there. Oh. I was hoping she was pulling a prank on me. I was speechless. After what seemed like forever, I said okay, I'll meet you in there after I seat this party. She said okay and went to the bathroom. I grabbed Lucy and told her what happened. She had no idea what to do either. We thought about getting her husband, but we knew he was useless. Lucy kept doing her job while I checked on Mrs. Green. I went to the bathroom and there is Mrs. Green in an open stall on the toilet. I looked away and asked, "UHH, is there anything I can do for you? Can you get me a plastic bag for my underwear?" Phew. I thought she was gonna ask me to wipe her or something. I went and got her a plastic bag. After I handed it to her I asked, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" "Yes, watch the door cause I'm gonna come out and wash myself in the sink." "It's okay, mom, I can just hand you wet paper towels." "No, I need the sink." Jesus. Joseph and Mary. I go out and watch the door. Thankfully, nobody came by. I went back into the bathroom and asked, "Are you gonna be okay?" "No, I need help pulling up my pants." F and that. I literally held my breath and braced for the worst. Everything seemed going fine until the very last second where I accidentally touched her ass. I scalded my hand like there was no tomorrow. I helped her back to her table and pulled out her seat again. She leans over to her husband and says, "Honey, we have to go. I just pooped my pants." "You know what, Mr. Green said? We're not leaving. This is a nice restaurant and I want to finish my dinner." My heart sank. I wanted to scream. There was nothing else I could do though. I go back to my hostessing duties and tell Lucy everything. After a little while later, the Greens are leaving. Mrs. Green is just mere steps from the door when she stops and says, "Uh-oh!" exclamation mark. Not again. She pooped her pants again. This time both me and Lucy help her to the bathroom. I'm not doing this shit again. Literally. This time Lucy helped her in the stall. If you recall, Mrs. Green already soiled her underpants, so she was wearing just regular pants now and now everything is ruined. There was literally nothing we could do. When Mrs. Green comes out of the stall, tears are streaming down her face from embarrassment. I felt awful. We walk her out to the front of the restaurant where Mr. Green is waiting for her. Not happy. He groans and opens the door so fast that he almost hits Mrs. Green. We decided to walk her to her car. That was the worst work experience of my life. Wait, it gets worse. The Greens still come back every now and then. Mrs. Green doesn't even remember me. She came up to me another day and said, "I'm sorry dear, but I need some help in the restroom." Yes, this is my life. I told management of this problem and they didn't seem to care. I was in hospital in ICU getting dialysis for an Aki when my face got paralyzed on my birthday. I actually just posted about this in another Ask Reddit thread. So here's a summary with the critical detail I left out, because the situation is so bizarre I'm having difficulty believing it myself. Stuck dick in mildly crazy. Mildly crazy went to 11. Diagnosed as full-blown paranoid schizophrenia when she got pregnant. She ran away, accusing me of conspiring with Google and Iran to turn the kid into a demon and enslave humanity. Hired investigators to track down kid, since she is in no way fit to be a parent. Turns out I didn't know her real name, and she has a bit of a track record back home in the Midwest. Found out her real name from a warrant for parole violation. Wait for it. Wait for it. Kevin. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? Exclamation mark. Question mark. Turns out she was pre-op fortem trans when she got busted for GTA and sentenced to 2 years. Since being a person with a vagina locked up in a men's prison is not most people's idea of a good time, she detransitioned and went to women's prison. She violated parole pretty much as soon as she got out, running to Virginia where she met me. So I thought I knocked up a mentally ill but basically decent person, and it turns out she's a felon on the run and has a history of meth use. Also, she might never have been pregnant, but I need to know for sure before I stop looking. On the plus side, I started cleaning up her stuff from my apartment and have found a bunch of things she bought with my credit cards. So far I have a desktop computer, printer, laptop, electric fireplace, stand mixer, and a time lock safe that has something inside it, but I can't yet get in. Also a vibrating strap-on dildo. My buddy with the wire EDM machine is going to break into it this weekend. The safe, not the dildo. More mild than some. But here's mine from last weekend. Driving 6 hours to my cousin's wedding with my partner. Leave early. Having a great trip. Arrival time is about 3 hours before the wedding starts, so we have time to check into the hotel and change. Get a call from my dad. His car broke down. He's terrible about maintenance, and he's half an hour behind us. Can we please come rescue him? We double back. And because he refuses to give us any cross streets, his description was by the trees in the pull-out by an overpass. It takes us nearly an hour to find him. We get his car to a safe location. Back on the road. Get to the hotel. Throw on nice clothes. Dad says it'll take 15 minutes to get to the venue. So he takes an extra 10 minutes getting ready. It's actually 15 miles/30 minutes. We get to the wedding 5 minutes late. We have to sneak in front of everyone, and I have to stand in 4-inch heels on grass for half an hour because there aren't chairs outside the front row. Okay, fine. We made it. That's the important part. But wait, it gets worse. In the middle of the appetizers, the DJ pages the person driving my distinctive car. Rear tire is flat. Okay, cool. Better than finding out late at night. We find a small nail in it. Swap it out for the donut. Go back to the party. Plan is to get the tire patched in the morning before driving back to deal with dad's car. But wait, it gets worse. Get up after 4 hours of sleep. Head to Walmart to get the tire patched because they're the only place nearby open on a Sunday. Don't get hotel free breakfast because they won't let you remove food from the serving area. Go into Walmart Auto 15 minutes after they open. Hour and a half wait already. Okay, cool. We wander the store and play on the Wi-Fi. Finally get called in to deal with the fix. But wait, it gets worse. Tire wasn't flat because of a nail. Tire had 2 major slashes, probably from hitting a piece of glass. $100 later, I now own a new tire. It's now 9:30 AM. So no hotel breakfast. I'm exhausted and hangry, and we go grab something resembling breakfast in the largest coffee money can buy. We go get dad. Get his car to the only shop open on a Sunday. They say it will take at least a day to fix. We get him a hotel and drive the rest of the 4 hours home, so my partner can work the next day. It was a lovely wedding though. 3 days ago, I injured my back. It is a lumbar sprain. Super painful, especially when leaning forward. 2 days ago, I decided to get a burger from a newly opened Five Guys. I get food poisoning. And not just mild food poisoning. I'm talking about lying down in front of a toilet for days. Fluids exploding out of all orifices. Ever had to throw up with a back injury? Do not recommend. Today, I got my period. Semicolon. Please let us know if you're still alive in a few days. Oh hey look, grandpa 1 has cancer. Oh hey look, grandma 2 has cancer. Oh hey look, grandpa 1 died of cancer. Oh hey look, uncle 2 has cancer. Oh hey look, grandma 2 died of cancer. Don't you dare, uncle 2. Don't you ducking dare. This is my friend's story, but I really enjoyed it. College. Freshman year. Party in the dorms. They have a duck ton of booze and you aren't supposed to have booze. The resident advisor, rap, knocks on the door due to a noise complaint and a bunch of students run to hide in the back room. Now this isn't so bad. If you have booze, you don't get kicked out. You just have to write an essay on why alcohol is bad, and they confiscate it. These kids don't know that, so they jump out the window. 3 stories up. First guy somehow doesn't hurt himself. Breaks away running. Second guy lands okay. Third guy is a freshman girl, and she hits her head and blacks out. They finally let the rat into the room. He gets a call on his cell. Yeah, we just saw a body fall past our window. So now he has to get the police involved. They can't find the girl because the second guy dragged her body behind a dumpster. At Christmas break, home from college, I had to put my dog down. Right before I head back. My mom informs me she's leaving my dad. Because we are broke and losing our house. And she had spent all of my college/life savings making payments on the house without my knowledge/permission. Have fun at school. Apostrophe. Semicolon. Got pregnant out of wedlock. He left me. I got sick, very sick. Hyperemesis gravidarum. Cold, and eat or drink anything. Spend most of the pregnancy in the hospital. Cold and work or take care of myself. So I had to move back in with my dad at the age of 23. Ended up having my daughter stillborn 3 days after my due date. Got abused as a baby. Parents mentally and physically abused me and locked me in. I was so mentally ill that I didn't even know how to talk to others. So of course I got bullied at school. Luckily they put me in a home at 13 when I started therapy, but started self-harm too. Cutting to the bone, drinking chemicals, burning myself. I cannot wear any clothes that show my arms and legs ever since. I've attempted suicide a few times, of which one was by overdose. I have heart problems from that still. I got raped a few times by different people, was homeless, gained weight, became a drug addict. Just when, after 7 years of therapy, I started to feel better and decided to do what I love and started to study design. I got an eye disease that left me almost blind. Nevertheless, I'm happier than I've ever been today, although I live alone and am very lonely sometimes. I decided to go to university, which starts next week. I have the most awesome guide dog in the world, and he is everything to me. I finally realized that being happy is a choice you have to make, no matter the circumstances. In college I had a few friends over my dorm to hang out. I was really interested in this girl, so I approached her, asked her if she was interested in me. She said gross, never with you. Then started throwing up in my room. But wait, it gets worse. I head across the hall to borrow a mop. I return. The door's locked, and she's banging someone on my bed. My keys were inside the room, and I was banging on the door non-stop. I had to wait half an hour until they were done. To my surprise, they had also thrown up on my bag/laptop. Mother and stepfather were murdered when I was 10. Family of 7 was split up, with my brother and I. My 3 sisters going to my father and stepmother. But wait. Stepmother was a psycho-religious nut who blames us for our mother's murder, was a friend of hers, stole my dad from her, regular beatings with elbows, belts, etc. Grounding for reading unholy books, games. It was hell, but found an amazing girl in high school who I dated for 2 years, and was happy as a guy could be. But wait. She ended up dying 2 days after our 2-year anniversary in a car wreck. Destroyed me and ended up graduating in the summer instead of walking with my class because I was fucked up over it all. But wait. Turns out my father was a shitty person, and the year after I married my wife it came out he was doing terrible things and I ended up helping him get sent to prison. But wait. Turns out my wife ended up cheating while I was working out of town earning a living for her and my 2 awesome kids. But wait. I ducking stayed like an idiot. Found out she's talking to him again while I'm stuck in another state for next 2 months. Edited for layout. Playing touch football with friends. One of the friends decided to turn it into tackle football. I'm 4 feet 11 and at the time weighed about 75 lbs. My friend was 5 feet 8 and probably weighed about 130 lbs. She tackled me after getting pissed at me for something. It's been so long since the incident I can't remember what made her mad. We landed on the sidewalk. She landed on top of me and it broke my lower back. It gets worse. The doctor on duty overdosed me on Toradol. He gave me the dosage you would give an adult male. And my kidneys shut down. And my organs started to shut down. It gets worse. I retained fluids because I couldn't pee. My face was swollen and I couldn't see. The bitch that broke my back tried to visit me in the hospital. No ducking way. It gets worse. They called the Make-A-Wish Foundation and were talking about life flight to another hospital and dialysis. Eventually things got better and I now have full use of my organs and kidneys. It got worse. Now I have herniated discs from the incident that pinched my sciatic nerve. I can't lift over 25 pounds. I can't pick up my 5-year-old. Close bracket. Silver lining. I'm alive with functioning use of my organs. Went into premature labor with my son. Had to have an emergency C-section due to placenta previa. Doctor nicked the plactina and I started bleeding out. Thankfully we both came through it. Next day, my husband was made redundant from his job. I had no job to return to after having bub. We had just bought a new house a few months before that we could now no longer afford. Got discharged from the hospital 4 days later. Next morning I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. Went back to the hospital and spent 3 days being poked, prodded, etc. while in agonizing pain to be told that I had influenza. But they couldn't work out what else was wrong. 7 PM on night 3 I had the sudden clarity that I was going to die. So called for drive. Was taken in for emergency surgery and they discovered I had a massive infection. Was a couple of hours away from going into organ failure from sepsis. Spent a week in ICU recovering. A week later a speeding idiot smashed into our only car and it was written off. So that was a shitty fortnight. The year I left my husband, I found out he'd been having an affair. In addition to everything else, I moved to Queens, where I was robbed by my super 3 weeks later. I moved again and had water leaking into my place. So I moved again. That November, my block caught on fire in Nick and I was smoked out. The only good news here, I kept the smoky apartment and met the best boyfriend ever. Please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more of Reddit universe.